saying congratulations on this film. I've had a chance to sit down and watch it, and I absolutely loved it, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. I love to hear that. What was your favorite part?
I think I just liked the whole thing in general. Like, I loved that it was something that we've all seen kind of before, but it was done so differently that it made you feel like you were on a new adventure that you'd never seen before.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. That's exactly what we were going for.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about how you first became involved with the project.
Yeah, so I study acting in university, and I was just doing like student films. I was looking for work. I was like auditioning through my agent and everything, and then I see this posting, like this listing for a casting call, and I was like, a lead for a feature, all right. So I applied, but I got rejected. I didn't even get an audition yet, and so I was like, oh, okay, put it aside. I was like, whatever. But then I had a friend who was on the casting team, and she saw that I had been submitted, but I didn't do the audition. So she asked the director. She was like, "Can he come in to do one?" And then he was like, "Yeah," because they're still looking for the person to play Julian. So I got an audition. She called me and said, "If you can be here by 3, you can audition." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was going in completely underprepared, completely like stressed out. But I think the stress helped me out. It was obviously one of my stronger auditions I've done, and it landed me the role.
Yep, I was going to ask, did the stress help you out? Because we just had Supernova here on the weekend, where we had which is kind of like Comic-Con here in Australia, and I noticed that a lot of actors were talking about auditioning, and they were saying that sometimes stress actually really, really helps you, and they were saying during the pandemic here, most people had to audition from home, which stressed them out even more, but they felt it helped them. Do you think that stress helped you during the audition?
Yeah, I think it did. So whenever I feel nervous or stressed, like when I'm performing, let's say on the stage, or like I like anything for film, I just try to trick myself into thinking that it's because I'm excited. It's not nervous, because it's pretty much the same feeling. So I focus really hard on making sure that I make myself feel like it's just because I'm excited that I feel this way.
Yeah.
And then that allows me to go into it just wanting to have fun and enjoy myself.
So how much did you actually know about the character when you went for the audition? Because, of course, that kind of is an important thing to know.
Yeah, so the only thing I knew was the 2 sentences that was in the, about the character. I don't know, there were maybe like 3 or 4 sentences about the character in the listing, like on the posting. And I knew that he was supposed to be 24 years old. Clearly that wasn't the case in World Ends at Cam City when we actually filmed, because my screen age is a lot younger than that. But so I think Julian ended up being 21 or something. I think he's 21, yeah, which is cool. So I knew that. I knew that he was in university, and that was about it. I knew that he loved the campground as well, which helped me get into character a little bit, because that clearly, from what you saw, was a pretty important part of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's all I knew.
So, for our listeners out there, tell us a little bit about Julian as a character. What did you learn as you went along about the character, and how did you approach playing this character?
So, Julian's a pretty stubborn guy, but he doesn't mean bad by it. He cares a lot about the people and the things that are in his life that he loves, and when those things are threatened, he clearly, he just does not react well to that. And in this case, for those of you that haven't seen the film yet or who are going to watch it, Julian's campground that his family owns is being sold, and he does not like that at all. And he's a smart guy. He's funny. He knows his way around different machines, cars and stuff. Absolutely can repair them. Me in real life, not so much. But Julian, yeah, and he's a really caring guy, and he has a big heart.
Yeah. The whole thing about the family campground being sold, there's a famous Australian film, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, called The Castle, which is all about a family who are being told that they have to sell their house to the government because they want to acquire it to build an airport. And it is such a powerful Australian film, and a film in general, because we all have that thing where it's like, no, I could never part with that in my life. How did you approach playing that part of the character? Was there something that you imagined that you couldn't part with in your own life?
Yeah, so when I grew up in like a small town, and we had the same house throughout, from when I was 5 years old to when I was 18 years old. And then when I graduated high school, my parents sold the house, and that affected me a lot more than I guess it affects people usually. I had a really hard time with that, like my parents moving away and like me having to move out, losing like that house and everything. And I found a lot of what I was imagining when I was trying to get into character was that, like, how I felt when I was losing something that I cared a lot about. And that, yeah, pretty much carried me through, like, through the whole film. Like, all the filming, I had that in mind a lot.
Yeah. What were your first thoughts when you actually first read the script? Because I know, like, as you said, you went into the audition not knowing too much, but what was your first thoughts when you then sat down and read the script?
I thought I felt like this was a character that I could play. Like, I understood why I was chosen for the role, and I was like, yeah, I totally get where this guy is coming from, and this is a character that I can get into this character, and I can do this. Like, it was, I was excited, honestly. I was really excited to try it out, because typically I'm more into, like, my background, I guess, is more comedy.
Yeah.
So this was cool for me. This was like a new challenge, but I liked the challenge that I got with Julian.
How do you go from doing that? Because I know there's a lot of famous comedic actors out there whose best roles have ended up being dramatic roles, and we've seen that recently with Vince Vaughn, with movies like Hacksaw Ridge and things like that, where he's moved away from comedy and gone back to the drama and the suspense kind of films that he did in his early career. What was that like for you, stepping away from comedy and doing a more serious kind of role?
I liked it a lot. It felt very rewarding.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, it was a big challenge at first to sort of get into it, but once we started filming, and like, it was just these connections I was making with like the other actors, and like how the characters meshed so well together in this very serious, dramatic way was a lot of fun to work with. And also, Anne Carolyn, that Ace, as we called her on set, she's an experienced actress. She's been in quite a few horror films and some dramas, and that, just having her as my partner in the film was just so helpful. Like, off camera, she was making sure that, that I was doing all right, or that everything was okay, and like I was able to handle everything. She was also made sure I knew my lines. That was big with her. But yeah, she was a lot of help.
Will you go back to comedy now, or do you really like what you've done with this film, and has that kind of changed your opinion on what kind of acting and what kind of roles you'd like to take?
I don't think it's completely changed what kind of roles I'd like to take. I think it's sort of broadened my horizons on what roles I would like to take.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of fun with this one. I have a lot of fun with comedy, so I'm thinking, why not both?
Exactly. Now, were you a big horror fan before you went into this, or was horror kind of a genre that you hadn't thought much about?
I thought a lot about it, but I haven't seen too many horror movies because I get a little scared when I'm watching them. So I usually only watch them when I'm with someone or like with friends and whatnot. So I haven't seen too many, and that was something fun that with filming was like sort of seeing behind the scenes of it, and how it's also kind of horrifying, like the zombies and their makeup and everything. Like the makeup artist did such a great job with the zombies that when we're filming and they're chasing us, like I don't have to do too much acting on feeling scared, because it was honestly I get scared easily, so it was a bit horrifying. But I'm gonna watch them more now, because now that I know sort of what happens behind the scenes, it'll be an interesting way to watch them.
Yeah. Did the fact that the bads or the horror in this film was zombies, did that kind of worry you a little bit at the start? Because, like I said before, I like this film because it does something different in the genre, but there are so many zombie films out there at the moment because of the success of The Walking Dead. Did that kind of worry you a little bit at the start when you realized that the horror of this was zombies?
Honestly, not so much, because I think something that we did different was what we based the film on, and that's, the pandemic. And that, since it was so early on in the pandemic, that hadn't been done yet. So I feel like, in a way, that sets us apart from a lot of other zombie movies. And also, I just trusted Ding, the director and the producer. I just trusted him with what his visions were, and the writing was great too, so I wasn't too worried.
Yeah. How did the pandemic itself actually change the way you had to go about filming? Because I've heard some really interesting stories over the past couple of years where casts have had to stay together for the entire 2 weeks and haven't been able to go out and mingle with other people from outside the cast. What was that like, shooting a film during the pandemic?
Well, so we had a pretty similar experience where we weren't really able to mingle with anybody outside of our cast and our crew, but it honestly made it fun because we were actually staying at the campground that we filmed at. So we were staying in the RVs that were there, and so it felt like, we were just all camping and shooting this awesome zombie film. But we did have to be careful, keeping our masks on in between takes, just really making sure we kept a clean and professional and aware environment.
Yep.
So that we didn't get anyone sick, because if someone got sick somehow, that's it. Filming's done.
Yeah.
But luckily that didn't happen, and it also helped that we were pretty far up north in Canada, so there weren't. It was in a really small town, so there weren't very many cases. I think when I checked when I was there, there was one active COVID case.
Yep.
So, we weren't too worried, but we had to be very cautious, and it did make filming feel a little bit weird.
Definitely.
It was strange because this was in the fall of 2020, so it was all new to everyone as well.
So tell us a little bit about Ding as director and Diane as writer as well, because I think they've got very, very big futures ahead of them, as have you. But tell us a little bit about what it was like working with those two, because, like I said, they're very exciting for the genre, I think.
Right, yeah, so honestly, yeah, both of them, they were great to work with. I'll start with Ding. The way he works is he's very, very focused. You can tell when a scene's rolling, he's watching things that the average person or just anyone just wouldn't notice while the scene's unrolling, and that was cool to watch. I really enjoyed watching someone be passionate in that sense, in that way, about what they were doing, about their work. So it was great to work with him, and Diane as well. I'm not sure if she's written anything else before, but if this were her first, I'd be surprised, because she did a great job with it.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just great, and she was on set most of the time as well. So it was really great to have the writer there as well as the director, to sort of, everyone was creatively coming together to figure out how we would shoot a scene, basically, yeah.
Definitely. Now, what next for you, Dean? What have you got coming up next for you as an artist?
So I've got this upcoming summer, I'm filming another feature, which I'm excited for. It's called Twin Tide. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm just auditioning and trying my best to get as many roles as I can right now, but I'm loving the roles I'm getting, honestly. I'm so excited about, when this film came out, watching it back, it was just so exciting to see, that I was a part of something like that, and then to think that I have that opportunity, like that I'm lucky enough to be a part of things like that, hopefully in the future, it just feels really exciting.
Definitely. Well, Dean, to finish up, what would you like to say to people out there before they head out to check out this really, really good film?
Just honestly, in let's see. So many things that I want to say. While you're watching it, try to notice how my facial hair looks. No, honestly, I don't have anything to say. Just enjoy the film, please. Like, enjoy it. If you have anything you'd like to say about the film, like, feel free to DM me on any form of social media. I'm there. And yeah, just I hope you enjoy the film.
Awesome. Well,